Now, Naropa, the Mahamudra, the instruction, the 28 verses in Spanish. So you guys read very fast. I can't read, catch up. However, now some of the verses that Tilupa said is very sort of like a very understandable, and is a very sort of clear, and it's a very effective. Not to say that some of them are not effective or some of them are not clear. Of course, they are very clear. All of them are very clear and very effective. But for us, some of like for our faculty, it's not so sort of easy to understand. And so that's the reason why we should not be going like all the way straight, the one after the other, because it takes a long time, and maybe many of you will feel a little bit like boring and all these things, and also will not understand and then waste time. And so here, for example, like meditation actually means as you all know, that we are dealing with the mind. The mind says, my mind is a very much the focus of the meditation. No matter what sort of meditation you are talking about, maybe concentrational mind, or that means the concentrational meditation, maybe the Drukpa, like a spontaneous wisdom, or Dzogchen meditation, or Madhyamaka meditation, or or calm abiding meditation, Samadhi meditation, Vipassana meditation. There are many meditation, but anyway, all the meditation very much depends on, or the focused on, mind. So Mahamudra also, that focuses on mind. And of course, some of the Dzogchen master says Dzogchen doesn't really focuses on mind, because Dzogchen is beyond the mind. But again, that is also for the sake of argument, you can talk about yes and no and yes and no. But experientially speaking, you cannot say that Dzogchen is, if you are just merely because you are a practitioner of Dzogchen, so you don't care about the mind. That is not right. Dzogchen, once you become advanced Dzogchen practitioner, then you will understand that the Dzogchen, reality of Dzogchen, or the Dzogchen itself, is beyond the mind. That is, of course, that is the realization. When you realize, when you reach to that level of understanding, then of course the mind is no longer important to sort of focus, because it's a beyond mind. It's a Dzogchen means like a universal truth, which is nothing. The mind is not the kind of a focus. Now, that is the reason. Otherwise, cannot say that the Dzogchen doesn't. A Dzogchen practitioner, whoever, like for example myself, I have been practicing Dzogchen, so I can't say that, for me mind is not important. I can't say that. Why? Because, me as an individual person, mind is very important. Mind needs to be concentrated. Then in order to get the deep understanding of the philosophy or level of the Dzogchen, that is the way how you should be going. Otherwise, generally speaking, meditation always focuses on the mind. Okay. Now the mind has two sets of the mind and mind itself. So there is a kind of a mind and mind itself. So that is a very easy way of If you are in a kind of, let's say, little advanced way, then you don't separate these two. So then you will understand the subtle differences between these two, but you don't have to separate it. But for us, it is much better to have separation done. So then the mind itself actually is the Mahamudra, is the Rigpa, is the Dzogchen. But mind is not the how do you say, is not the same as the mind itself. So mind is full of what do you call that, the influences of afflictive emotions, etc., etc. So that is mind. But mind itself is like a Madhyamaka or the Mahamudra, and you can even say Dharmakaya state of the mind. That is mind itself. So of course this is okay. Don't kick big fuss. Just listen to me anyway. Yeah, because you guys are now, you know, you become like, go like that. What is he talking about? No, relax. Doesn't matter. This is nothing very big thing anyway. I'm just telling you a little bit more detail so that you will understand. I mean, if you are interested in sort of doing so, then you will see what is different in the mind and mind itself, and then you will sort of like you will know how to handle it. If you are not informed, then it is a little difficult to sort of like to go about. So that's the reason I'm saying that there is two sort of a set of mind, I would say, or two aspects of the mind. So mind itself is a mind that has no influences with anything, and mind is very much influenced mind, influenced by the afflictive emotions, etc., etc. So right now, for example, we have a mind that says this, and organizes a lot of things. That all these organizing kind of mind and fabricated mind, that is mind. Yes, if you ask whether that is a mind or not, yes, but this is not mind itself. Okay, that's the thing. It is the mind, but mind, not mind itself. In some sutra, that is as mind of the mind. They say like that, but it doesn't matter. Generally, that says mind itself. So in English, it says that. I think that is good translation. So so mind itself is a purity state of the mind, pure state of mind. Pure state of mind is actually means like the mind that has neither color nor shape. That is the thing. And neither activities nor not activities, you know. So not active. So that is like a mind. It's like what you call in Dzogchen we say spaciousness, you know. In the Mahamudra it says like what we say is in Mahamudra there is a terminology, I can't remember in English, how do you call that? But anyway, that is the mind itself. So that is a pure, primordially pure. You don't have to purify. You don't have to purify. If you try to purify, then this is not right. You purify, and that is again, you are adding up the fabrication. And it gets worse and worse and worse. You don't have to purify because it's primordially pured. Primordially pured. In the Dzogchen terminology, it says like a primordial Buddha. I think in Mahamudra also we say the primordial Buddha. Even a sutra also they say primordial Buddha, I think. But anyway, the Tantra Yana, they say primordial Buddha, which means like you don't have to sort of do anything. It is primordially Buddha, primordially enlightened, primordially pure. Okay, that is mind itself. It is said here also neither color nor shape, and it cannot be stained either black or white. You know, cannot be stained by the color, and it's the same as similarly that it cannot be stained by any of the afflictive emotions, anger cannot be staining the mind itself. The desire cannot be staining mind itself. Mind itself is a free of everything, free of everything. It's a great liberation. In Dzogchen we say great liberation. Mahamudra also say that there's the great liberation also. So that is great liberation in the sense it is primordially liberated. So it is not needed to be liberated. If there is anything that is need to be liberated, it is not great, but it is liberated. Liberated, it is liberation, but it's if you want, you can even call minor liberation or temporary liberation. It's a liberated. It's a manually liberated. I mean, it's a fabricated way of liberating. It is also a sort of liberation by its own sort of extended. But actually, it is not. Some extent, it is liberation, but it is not authentic. What do you call that? The primordial liberation. So that is the reason why it says, it cannot be stained either black or white. It actually means, the mind itself cannot be made better, or cannot be made worse. It is always liberated. So it is always enlightened. So this is the reason why sometimes I use also the everyday enlightenment. Actually means if you realize it, for a yogi, everyday enlightenment. Every day, whatever you do, it is the act of enlightenment. Action of enlightenment. Enlightenment itself doesn't mean that you cannot do anything. Once you get enlightened, then you cannot do. You cannot eat. You cannot do anything. You are nobody. You become those dull. Those dull. What do you call that? Dull. Yeah. You don't want to be like a doll. You want to be active. So, actual fact, because of misunderstanding, we sometimes think like that. Once you get enlightened, then you don't have to eat. You don't have to do anything. You are not going to be. You're not sensing anything. You're not going to sense anything. You're not going to understand anything. You're not. You're not going to be walking, and finished. Literally dead. Literally dead. This is what people understand. The newcomers, they think like that. That's not right. Enlightenment, once you get enlightened, fully enlightened, then you will be like 100, 200, 300%, 300 times, 400 times, 900 times, more, how do you say, active, more smart, more intelligent, more accurate, that sort of thing. It is what we call, enlighten, the final enlighten, or the authentic enlightenment, what we call like an omniscient one. So you will be knowing like we know one at a time. They can know like when we get enlightenment, the enlightenment has a skillful, the capability to know that the thousands of millions of things, to know 1,000 million things at a time, at one go, and we know we have only ability to know only one thing at one go. So that is the thing. It's really like enlightenment should not be sort of like, what do you call that, misunderstood. And I think it is because the enlightenment or Mahamudra is like an emptiness. I think it's the emptiness is the only is the thing that people misunderstand about. So that is the reason why it derives from the emptiness, and then people misunderstand about it, and then the getting enlightenment is also like a bigger version of emptiness. So then empty, nothing there. You have nothing there. You have no movement, nothing. So that is totally wrong. Actually, you have to understand. So that is something you have to know. The mind itself is beyond both color and the shape, and it cannot be, cannot be sort of stained by the black and or white. Means the black and white actually means the good deeds and the bad deeds. Anything. Bad deeds cannot be making the mind itself worse. Good deeds cannot be making mind itself better. Mind itself does not really have anything to be making better or worse. Itself, this is never moved. It is primordially there. That's it. But now the mind, now the mind needs a lot of purification. Mind needs a lot of fabrication, I would say. Fabrication in the sense of, all sorts of accumulation of merit needs to be there in order to improve it. And also, lots of concentration needed. Just a while ago, I was talking about concentration. Concentration is needed to improve mind. To improve mind. There are many people, they say that, mind doesn't have any, because those Dzogchen practitioners, Mahamudra practitioner, they are, and especially the Westerners, like American Mahamudra practitioners and all these things, they have, many of them have a many misunderstanding about it. So then they just directly argue with us, when we say mind should be improved. What do you mean mind should be improved? Mind does not really need to improve. Mind is the very pure. Mind is really pure. Yeah, but then you should understand mind and mind itself. Mind itself is pure, primordially pure, as I said just a while ago. But mind is not pure. So mind needs to be working on. So that is the corner that you need the meditation very badly. Otherwise, meditation is not needed. From the point of view of mind itself, meditation is not needed, prostration is not needed, recitation is not needed, nothing. You are already primordially Buddha, primordially enlightened, so no problem. But why you need the meditation? Why you need a concentration? Otherwise you cannot concentrate. Why is it so? We are so poor. Why? Because mind is poor, mind is wild, mind is contaminated. Mind is really like addicted, I would say. Addiction carried away by carried the mind away. So therefore, mind is really like getting wild because of addiction. So mind can be very much the problem. Not only can be, mind is the problem right now. So therefore, mind needs to be concentrated. So you have to understand, and also the dullnesses or the darkness of the mind. The mind has a darknesses that you can see, you can feel. You can feel that, when you do meditation, there's all of a sudden it's like a darknesses comes in. And you don't know anything. You don't have any sense of concentration. You don't have any sense of clarity. You don't have any sense of compassion, devotion. Nothing. Just comes like, it's like very much darknesses. It's the mind. It really is the mind. Nothing but mind. Mind is getting dark. It's not the room getting dark or something is getting dark. It is the mind which is getting dark. So therefore it needs to be clarified. So the darkness of but it has to be cleared. It has to be cleared. So it has to be worked out so that it will be how do you say clean. It will be artificially cleaned, because it has to be cleaned, because the mind and mind itself, if you like, mind itself is like indoor inside door. So the mind is really the path that you are trying to put inside of that room. So while you are out there, you have to work with the mind, and then you can get in. So the mind is a path, like a path to positivity, path to negativity also. So that is the whole holder of the path. So this is what we call, that Tilopa said, not in this, but he said in one of his songs, or Milarepa, I think, it's not Tilopa, that, you know, the mind, how do you say, mind is the boss, you know, boss who tells you everything, who takes you on the path. You know, he takes on the negative path, he takes on the positive path. So the mind is the boss. That when he say mind is the boss, mind is really the king, that mind is mind, it's not mind itself. We are not talking about mind itself. You should know that. So therefore, mind is really the boss. So the boss, you have to talk with the boss, and you have to make the boss understand what you want. Otherwise, you know, the boss will definitely send you in a wrong direction, for example. So therefore, it is very important to deal with the mind. So now, but philosophically, or view, from the point of view of the Madhyamaka, and from the point of view of the Madhyamaka, even though you are practically going along with the mind, you cannot ignore the mind. The mind is definitely there to go with, together with, until the true realization of mind itself. You have to go with the mind. The mind you need to go with, and that time you have to understand the view. While you are dealing with the mind, you have to know about the view of the Madhyamaka, you know, or the view of Mahamudra, whatever you may call. That is what I said this morning, view. In between these two extreme, existence and non-existence, female and male, good and bad, long and short, you know. So then the inside, in between, you have to find a corner to relax and to understand, to have your view there. So the view is like a Madhyamaka or the Mahamudra, like a combination or a mudra, union. So this view has to be already established in your intellectual knowledge already. So while you are dealing with the naughty mind, you have to understand that the darkness of the thousands eons is powerless to dim the crystal clarity of the sun's heart, and likewise eons of samsara have no power to veil the clear light of the mind's essence, the essence of the mind. Although space has been designated empty, in reality it is inexpressible. That is the thing. While you are dealing with the naughty mind, you have to know that is already the fact that whole samsara is, what do you call that, illusion, inexpressible, beyond imagination, beyond expression. Although the nature of the mind is called clear light, its every ascription is baseless, verbal fiction. So what you have to understand, what it really try to say is that, you know, while you are going through all these method, for example, prostration, refuge, bodhicitta development, padayatra, doing all this padayatra. By the way, last night, did you see padayatra? Okay, well, I didn't know Not so easy, no? Is it? Okay, good. You decided.
No.
See, all these practices, we will do it. Humanitarian, like preservation, like preserving, you know, I talk about the preserving nature, you know, the cleaning water, all these things should be included in Mahamudra practice, you know. You cannot say that, preserving nature is not Mahamudra, you know. Mahamudra. We are Mahamudra practitioner. We're not supposed to be going out there and preserve the water, clean the water, clean the environment. No, 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 no. We are Mahamudra practitioner. We should sit and have a long face, and that's it. And have a big belly on top of that. Well, that's it, No, that's not the case, Mahamudra needs the purification. Inner purification, secret purification, external purification needed. Because mind is extremely diluted. Mind is extremely polluted. That is what we call it secret. I call it. Nobody call it, but I call it secret pollution. We have lots of pollutions in air. Mexico has a lot of pollution, I think, but not as bad as India, I think. But India has a lot of pollution. India, big cities, they have a lot of pollution. Beijing, a lot of pollution. So a while ago, let's say a couple of years ago, the Los Angeles was the first city, I think, polluted city, biggest polluted city, most sort of polluted city. Anyway, so that is the thing, external pollution. Inner pollution is the mind pollution, and secret pollution is something that you don't understand, the realization, reality state of mind itself, When it comes to rest to the mind itself, you don't know where is mind itself. That is because of pollution, So we have a secret pollution, inner pollution, external pollution. So it needs to be, it's like an Omahong practice anyway. It has to be done from the body, speech and mind, or external and inner and the secret. So the purification also need to be done from the external purification, purifying, cleaning the environment, and cleaning the water, cleaning the environment, and serving Mother Earth, and doing good things externally. It helps the inner realization, inner sort of like a purification. Then inner purification helps the secret purification. So the purification is very badly needed. So what I'm trying to say is, of course, just a Padayatra just came in my mind, but something like a Padayatra or something similar, whatever you want to do, everything. For example, in a Bodhisattva, in a Bodhicitta volume, the doctrine, some of the Bodhicitta doctrine saying that, like a day-to-day life, cleaning the mugs, the cleaning cups, and washing your clothes, and going up on the staircase, all of them should be sort of like including in a bodhicitta practice, bodhisattva practice. They say, because of the mind, mentally you have to be sort of included into this. For example, washing your clothes. When you wash some clothes or something, you have to think that I am, due to washing this thing, may I be able to wash my mind. Wash my mind and purify my mind. You have to sort of like connect all these things so that it will be like included in the practice of bodhicitta. And when you go upstairs, and this is like may we all be like going up to the liberation. You pray and you sort of like imagine that way. When you go down, may we all go down to help beings or to help others. Sort of like that, you always, whatever you do, you have to think about and try to connect with your practice. There should be a bridge all the time. None of the thing you do should be kept sort of side and ignored and be samsaric totally. No, it maybe appears to be very samsaric, but it should be included in your practice. This is what the skillful method of the bodhicitta practice. So similarly, when you do Mahamudra, when you deal with the mind purification, when you do mind purification, is not only just a skillful method of the mind purification, is not only just to sit, just to do meditation, just to do concentration. No, concentrational mind is one of the most important thing to do, but also at the same time, that is the reason why the preliminary practice has prostration. You know, how many times of prostration? 100,000 times of prostration needed to be done, along with the recitation of refuge. Why? Why does it need to be done? It is part of the Mahamudra practice, you know, Mahamudra. So why you have to do that is because the mind needs to be purified in order to reach to the mind itself, level of the mind itself. So that's the thing. You have to understand all these sequences, one after the other. Many people may not like that, but I think it's almost an obligation, you know, because that is how it works. But for some people, for some fortunate people, or some sort of like a fortunate in the sense that who has done already, you know, previous life, I would say, or this life, I don't know, whoever does all these purification done, then of course those people, for those people, does not really need especially prostrations and all these things. Just directly into the Dzogchen, directly into the Mahamudra, you can enlighten. You can be there already, directly. And that is because, partially because of the purification that they have done sometime before. Partially, there is a very good connection between the Guru and himself. So there is not much of problem. Guru can, you know, when the Guru instruct the Mahamudra, then you know, the enlightenment comes just that moment. It comes like spontaneously. It's like a blossoms. That happens sometime with some people. So that is, for example, the Virochana. The Lotsawa, the translator Lotsawa Virochana, has his one of his best disciple, Mipam Gombo. The Mipam Gombo was there. So when he was 84, I think, Mipam Gombo was 84 years, and whole life he was a householder. He was not doing any practice. He was not doing anything. But then all of a sudden he was very much wanting to practice something, and then he was how do you say? He sort of he was longing to see. He heard a lot of things about the Virochana, and he was developing his own devotion, and then the devotion was very strong with the Virochana. So when he met the Virochana, he was very happy, too happy, very happy, overwhelmingly. So he was very overwhelmed by the happiness and all these things, joyful. So then he was faint. He was faint that time. For a while, and then when he woke up, he got the enlightened, and then after that he hugged Virochana. I don't know how many days or something like that. He overjoyed. You know, he doesn't know anything, but Virochana was sort of like he saw Virochana, and Virochana I think gave a few instructions, just a few instructions. He was 84 and he was so old he couldn't see. So the Virochana put a small stick to open the eyelid like this, and just so that he can see Virochana, and he couldn't even see. He couldn't sit straight. So Virochana put a wood to sort of keep his head up. Still today, you can see him in Tanka painting. He's the only master who has something there. So because you know he need something to lift his head up. Otherwise, you know, he cannot put his up. So he put the stick on and stick here, the small stick here, to open the sort of eyes so that he can see Virochana. And then he gave instruction, very few sentence, and that's it. Dzogchen, he got Dzogchen realization immediately. So that happened. And the Virochana himself, his own master, gave him an apple, and he how do you say, he bite his apple, and then he got Dzogchen enlightened. So that sort of thing, you know, Virochana himself. So Tilupa, Naropa got enlightened, slap. So that sort of thing, you know, the kind of thing. You know, there are few, you know, great masters, they do. But the Naropa, speaking about Naropa, I mean, you must know, you have to know that, it's not only slap, he did how many years of hardship, I mean, so many, the 24 different sorts of hardship he did. And after that, then the slap came. And then he sort of like, he got enlightened. Anyway, that sort of thing. Anyway, these hardship, why they are doing hardship? Milarepa did have to go through a lot of hardship. Why? And Naropa had to go through a lot of hardship. Why? Because their mind had lots of defilement, lots of how do you say, contamination, with the lots of the defilement, lots of different varieties of defilement and negative karma. So therefore, that needs to be purified. Even for the Milarepa, it's of course now we think Milarepa cannot have a negative karma. Milarepa is such a great, yes, but not he was not. He became a great, but he was not. He was great. He was such a bad guy. Bad guy, negative guy. Such a negative guy. Such a bad guy. So then he found a way. So then he went through lots of difficulties. And also, the Guru put him in a very big problem, very difficult. For many, like almost 20 years, building every day, the building house, every day he has to build a house. And Marpa said, my family needs a house, square house. So you build a big castle, which is square one. And then you get up, high up, like 3-4 stores. And he says, no, sorry, I don't want to have the family living house, square one. I don't like that. Please build a tranquil one, And then again, halfway, and then he said, please demolish everything and build a square one. Now I think I like square one, for my family. My son, my wife, And so again Milarepa had to do. So anyway, I'm not going to tell you all these detail, but he had to build many things, and towards to the end, he was how do you say, carrying the rocks and the stones by himself without anything, and he was not supposed to be helped by anybody. If somebody helped, then Marpa finished. Marpa will finish you, finish Milarepa anyway. So of course he was only the one who's doing it, so without anything. And then the bag was, how do you say, there was a hole at the back. People can see lungs and everything inside. So then he was holding, after a couple of years of holding in there, then he holds the stone and everything in front. And that's the thing. And then after that, then the Marpa's wife, of course a very compassionate one, secretly gave him a piece of skin to wear on the body, so that the Milarepa will not hurt that badly. So that sort of thing. Anyway, all these hardship, and then afterwards he got enlightened. Like now, who is Milarepa? He become whoever he is right now. He become enlightened anyway. So it's no longer bad guy. So that is the thing. So he has to purify. So, but some of the yogis, they didn't have to do anything. That actually means the last life, previous life, he did manage to do that. However, what I'm trying to say is that you have to you have to enlighten. You have to include all the deeds that you are doing. If you are smart enough, you can go through all these things, yet you are doing Mahamudra practice, including washing clothes, washing mugs, washing something, washing your toilet, washing your bathtubs. I mean, relatively speaking, you are not doing Mahamudra. Come on, this is you are doing your day-to-day thing, cleaning the bathtub. What do you mean? But you have to think. You have to sort of like make a bridge between the day-to-day life and the Mahamudra practice. So the definition should be sort of understood because of the mind and mind itself. Okay, mind itself resting on its own mind itself. It is, of course, then when you reach to a level of that particular understanding, then you are like a deeply resting in mind itself. That is the Buddhahood, Buddha nature. When we say Buddha nature, the nature of the emotion, nature of the mind. So mind itself. But mind, we have to work very hard about that. Like Milarepa, like Naropa, like all these things, like Longchen Ramjamba, like Jit Tsongkhapa, like the Tsangpa Gyare, all these great masters, they had to go through all these difficulties because they have to purify mind. So this is one thing I wanted to tell you. Why? Because you should understand and you should really make yourself sure that there is a two thing, that you have to work this. This part is something you have to work. This part is something that is primordially Buddha, primordially enlightened. So that is something that has to be realized. That's all. That has to be realized. But this thing, this part of the mind, that has to be realized, not only realized, but that has to be worked with. So that actually means it has to really be purified. So one should not be lazy, one should not be having stupid reason. Many people has a stupid reason, I think. I think so, because the Dzogchen practitioner, Mahamudra practitioner, they, especially the newcomers, they have a kind of a reason, very funny reason why. I don't know, but they have a reason that they don't have to practice. I mean, that they don't have to go through purification. I don't have to go through the purification, People, when I say, "Oh, please do prostration," they say, "No, don't need, Why you should be prostrating? No, straight into meditation, straight. I'm directly into meditation. That's all. Obviously, it's more easier. You don't have to bend. You just can sit. And if you can't sit, if you have a problem of cross-legged, or you can stretch your leg. No problem. Well, still, I'm doing meditation. There's nothing wrong actually, but if you choose just because you like it, then this is not right. Even if you like that, but you have a heaps of things left to be done here, heaps of jobs that you have to be doing naturally. That is something that has to be considered. And it's really needs to be sort of like concerned or thought about. Okay, that's about it. And this afternoon we will be giving giving refuge, because some of the people requested. So I think the Drukpa Mexico has names and all these things, I think. So it's okay. I don't carry anything. I am, as you say, people say I am very modernized. So very true. I don't carry anything. I don't have all these small things that you can give to, and then blessing pill, and then this, and name card, and all this. I don't have anything. I have myself. That's it. Nothing. But so they have the names and name card and all these things, and refuge. Those people who don't want to take refuge, you can just come and then don't take refuge. Just sit there. That's it. Look what they are doing. What the hell that they are doing? Just can see. Can watch what's happening. So that's it. But the taking refuge actually means, as I mentioned the other day, the first day, refuge means you wanted to practice. That's all. You want to practice means what? No, that's not the thing. The practice means you want to go out and save beings. You want to go out and what you call that, serve beings, save nature. This is what I say. Serve, double S. Serve beings. and save nature. So this is what you have to do. Practice means that one. That is the bottom line practice. It is the bottom line practice. Right now we don't do that, you know. We don't save nature. We don't think that the nature is something. We don't have to. We don't think. We don't understand. So now refuge means the initiative vow. So the vow, you are vowing that you are now going to, from today onward, you are going to work. You're going to dedicate your time and effort to save the nature. You go there to serve the beings, not only human being, but the beings, means including the animals and all these things. So these are the vow that you are taking. And that is the practical level of understanding. And then in an understanding level, or this emotional level, what you have to understand is that, you know, you have to find yourself. You know, you have to understand yourself, find yourself. You know, right now we are lost. So we don't want to we don't want to be continuing in the mode of lost. So you have to find yourself. So that is emotional level of understanding. So emotionally you have to understand, you have to find yourself, so that you will be like able to sort of how do you say, figure out. So that's the thing, and figure it out and make yourself happy. And like what I said yesterday, always like you have to have a little bit of control on your emotion, so that emotion will not be driven you away from the awarenesses. You will have a little bit of understanding, awareness, so that the afflictive emotions come. When it comes, then of course you have a very nice way, or the appropriate way to make use of it. So then underline, the bottom line, what I'm trying to say is that you can be making yourself good boy, good man, good human being. That's the bottom line. You know, not only just going out there and do, hey, I'm going to help you, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, but then how about you? I mean, actually you are a very bad man, then how can you help me? You know, I mean, somebody may say that, you know. So that is also in fact, that is the fact. So therefore, first or simultaneously, what you have to do is you have to improve yourself. You can't be a bad man and then you pretend you are going to help. You cannot help, you know. This is not going to be successfully done. Never will successfully done. Why? Because you are, to start with, you are not very good man. You are not good human being. So therefore, practice of the refuge actually means you have to be good man, good human being. So you know, then how do you make you a good? Then, as I mentioned, just a couple of days already we spent together talking on how you make yourself a good human being. That's all. Be it Mahamudra, mindfulnesses, whatever you call, you know, the Guru Yoga, whatever, you know, refuge, bodhicitta, whatever. All these processes are nothing but to make yourself a good human being. So this is the vow that you are taking. From now on, I want to be making myself a good human being, so that I can be going out and interact with the people and sentient beings, all the beings, to serve them and save the nature for all the nation, all of us, humanitarian kind of thing, you know. So that's the thing. So this is what the refuge for. Of course, in the name of Lord Buddha and Dharma and Sangha. Buddha, teacher, Dharma, teaching, and the Sangha, who are practitioner. So these three are the kind of an example or kind of a path that we want to follow. That's all. So this is the very much short, abbreviated form of, how do you say, explanation of refuge. So of course I will be talking about the refuge little bit more detail, but actually right now I thought I should be talking a little bit, because then you can decide whether or not you want to take refuge or not. If you still you are not very sure, it doesn't matter. You are most welcome to come and watch. That's it. And if you think, oh, that's good, I mean, we can do it, then do it. But that is a vow, that is the precept. It's like a vow that you are going to do. That actually means vow, now vow in a kind of a very short terminology, what we say is not to harm anybody. That is the refuge vow, not to harm anybody. From now on, I'm not going to harm anybody. That's the thing, that's the bottom line. That's the really the abbreviated form, not to harm anybody. When you talk about the bodhicitta vow, then not just not to harm, but then on top of that, I'm going to help everybody. But refuge is at least you have to have a vow that not to harm anybody. I'm not going to harm anybody. So that's the thing. But then if you think, oh, I'm going to harm many people, many beings, you know. I'm harming, you know, I'm killing this people, that person, that. I'm always killing somebody, you know. For example, you know, oh, I kill, always I kill. For example, of course, none of us are butcher, but you know, if some of us are butcher, then of course, if I don't harm, I cannot survive. I have my wife, I have my children to look after. You know, it's a survival. So I have to kill lots of animal every morning. So sorry, I can't take refuge. Yes, of course you can't take refuge, because you can't take vow. You can't say I'm not going to harm anybody. No, you have to kill many beings every day to survive, as a survival. So what to do, unfortunately, you know? Or you don't have to be butcher, you know, like you can be mosquito butcher, you know, mosquito butcher. You can be, you know, rat butcher. You can be whatever the butcher, you know. Of course, many people are butcher. I mean, most of us are butcher anyway, you know, in many senses. So these things you have to be closely looked, closely watched into your behavior, your day-to-day behavior, whether or not it's possible or not. Many people, they don't think about it, and then they take refuge, and then they, you know, overnight they break the vow. And that's no good, very bad, you know. And then that actually means you are cheating the master, or you are cheating yourself, and you are really like fooling yourself, and it's no good for karma and process of your day-to-day life, a future of your life, no good. So therefore it has to be watched out very nicely and investigate it yourself, whether it is really possible or not. When it say, I am not going to harm anybody. So that, I mean, for people like me, it's very easy, because you know I'm not involved in killing or harming anything. Maybe indirectly I can. Maybe I can be very harmful, but directly I am not harming anybody anyway. This is not my lifestyle anyway. So that is the thing. Of course, I can be walking over somebody else, and then I kill them, step on animals or something like insects. That can be happened, but other than that, I'm not going to kill any beings in this world. That's for sure. You know, as I said, you know, the mosquitoes, I never kill mosquitoes. You know, sometimes I have hundreds of mosquitoes in my room. You know, sometimes it comes hey, it doesn't matter. I just run away. That's it. You know. Yeah. Those old days. I have a house in New Delhi. You know. And then the electricity is very, very uncertain, you know. So sometimes there's no electricity in night time. So then when there's no electricity, that means no air condition. And then there's no fan, actually. There's nothing. So then, you know, the mosquitoes, they have a very good time. Then they will fly, with everything. And then I run away, and then I can't stay in my garden also. It's very hot and humid, and also the many insects. So then I thought, you know, that the best idea is to go into my car and turn engine on, and the electricity. Then every day I make sure that the tank is full. Environmentally very unfriendly, but anyway. That's the only way. I did many times. I did this way. So, that's the reason. I never use this sort of spray and all this, because I'm sure that I can't. Maybe sometime you don't see the body, the dead body, but of course it is dying. It is the means of killing, So this is not right, actually. After taking refuge, you can't do that. After taking the bodhicitta vow, you can't do that. These little things you just have to avoid it. And then the little bit of a headache is you have to run away, you have to get into a car. And then, then I did this, and of course, luckily I didn't die. But some of my friends said, you could have dead already, because you should, the window should lower down a little bit. Otherwise, it is very intoxicant. What? And then I was very afraid. Until after that, then I lower window down a little bit, and then I lean back and then sleep comfortably anyway. The petrol tank is full, so no problem. So anyway, this is just a rubbish thing that I'm talking about. Anyway, we're wasting your time. Sorry for that, but these things has to be told, I think. In a way that has to be told, because many people, they're very happy to take refuge, because it's, again, as I mentioned, a couple of hours ago before, we are very fond of experimenting, let's experiment. Let's take that refuge and then see what happens. No, it's not a joke. It's not an experimenting kind of thing, You have to decide what you are going to do. You have to have a change taken in your life seriously before, after taking the refuge. So that's the thing. That's what is going to be happening after the lunch. So it's a lunch time. We don't give you the question and answer, I think. Or maybe we can give, we have a 5 minutes, so maybe we can give this. Yeah, 1 or 2, maybe 2. Okay, come. We'll stand up. Oh, hang on. Yeah.
Hola, Su Santidad, buenas tardes. Gracias por estar aquí. Mi duda es sobre los seres sintientes. Yo soy amante de los animales, tengo 3 perritos chihuahua. Estoy enamorada de los animales, de la naturaleza, de todo, pero no sé si puedo ayudarlos de alguna manera a trascender en su siguiente vida. Y segundo es comer carne, animales, entiendo que es indirectamente dañar también. ¿Cómo podemos convencer a los demás de que no lo vean mal? Yo no como carne, pero la gente ve mal que yo no como carne y me juzgan por eso.
There are many people who disapprove of me not eating meat also, the same thing. They say, as I mentioned, I think a couple of days ago, many people, they ask me to eat meat just to make myself feeling the health-wise. Doctor said also you have to have meat because you have been growing, like a childhood with eating meat. Meat was really the main dishes. So now, I remember on 17 years old, I think when I was 16 years old, 17 years old, until then you were sort of like nourished by your meat eating. So all of a sudden now you're not eating, so that's the reason your physical body is not healthy. So you have to have the meat. So this is what they're always telling me. But then I have a determination, very much strong, determined, very strong, determined not to have meat. Even though I sick, I die, it doesn't matter. This is my vow, not to eat, or something like that. However, now what to say is that animals, what you have to think is, of course, as a refuge practitioner, I would say, as a refuge practitioner, or maybe you're not a refuge practitioner, doesn't matter. What you have to do is, practically speaking, first, you tell yourself not to harm. That's all. Helping, you don't have to hurry up right now. And then once you develop this understanding a little further, compassion and all these things a little further, you have to give yourself a couple of years to develop further. And then you will be like one day you will be able to say, okay, now I'm going to help everybody, on top of not harming, but I'm going to help. So this is what the kind of a sign of improvement or development, next development is helping. So right now, don't really have to hurry about helping others that much. So helping, you can just relax in terms of help, because you're not really qualified, because sometimes you think that you cannot help, or sometimes your emotion doesn't allow you to help. Sometimes the miserliness, for example. I want to give maybe this bread to somebody else, but this bread is too very delicious, So should I give it or not? I don't think I want to give this to him. I should eat it, So of course I want to give this because it's a very. But then my mind says no. I want to eat. So that sort of thing. It's a. So all these things that will be there. As long as it's there, you don't have to. From the point of view of bodhicitta, bodhisattva path, you shouldn't be forcing yourself. If you have that mind, then you should not force yourself that much. So meanwhile, what you do is you have to indirectly force, of course, indirectly tell you the reason, tell you the good information, and tell you all these, whatever it is written in the sutra, whatever you understand, so that has to be cultivated, and then one day you will be able to sort of then act. There's not much of a problem when you give this bread away. Even though you have a little bit of miserliness, you giving away has no problem, because the joyfulness is definitely much stronger than the wanting this bread for me. My joyfulness is of giving away is much more sort of stronger than the having bread for me to eat. So that's the thing. But now, right now, as it is, the joyfulness of giving this away is small, is not so strong. And having this bread for me to eat is very big, So these two are not balanced, or it's like too much to talk about. So then it's not appropriate to give away. This is not only me saying that, okay? It's a sutra. The Dharma, the Buddha Dharma also say very clearly. So it needs to be giving it a break. To my newcomer student also, some of them say, many of them say, I think the Westerners especially, they always say that, Holiness, I want to help people, how do I help? I can't, think of, spending even one day without helping people. I want to help because the people are suffering a lot, but how do I help? Of course, they say they are very longing to help. I don't know why. I'm not longing to help anyway. So why? I mean, they're much ahead of their master. Their master is very backward. Then they're running very far from me. Then maybe. But I'm not longing because I'm going according to the path, slowly by slowly, and but they are very longing. I don't know why, but then they're longing, but then they can't. Why? Because they have heaps of problems. Of course, because they don't. First of all, they don't understand the functions of ego, functions of afflictive emotions, how all the maras are there. So you have to know how to deal with the Mara and go through it. How can you do that? The Maras will eat you, and finish you. So therefore, before you're doing anything, you have to know how to deal with the Mara so that you can get through to there. That's it. So second, please.
Su Santidad, buenas tardes. Cuando nos estamos refiriendo a la mente sola, ¿En qué momento, desde la perspectiva madhyámica, en qué momento, si nos estamos refiriendo a Rigpa, fue separada esta mente y es que ahora contamos con esta mente burda y fundamentalmente para entender un poco las reglas del juego, ¿por qué? ¿Cómo fue que nos separamos de ahí y por qué estamos separados de ahí? Gracias.
The separation between the mind and mind itself is almost like, you can say, natural, very much natural. Natural in the sense that it's not how do you say, not man-made or something like that. It is like a, it is almost like a quality of the samsara, or the characteristic of the samsara. It comes like a simultaneously, or it's a quality. It's a characteristic of the samsara. And so when we say Rigpa is the Dzogchen terminology. So Rigpa is mind itself. You can call it mind itself, even though Rigpa itself is not mind. It's beyond mind. That is the reason why we call it mind itself. It is like something you add it up, itself. So that is not mind itself. So that is the thing. Argument. For the sake of terminology, for the sake of something to talk about. So mind itself, Rigpa. But then the Rigpa, when we rest on its own nature, Rigpa, then the mind is no longer mind is no longer functioning. Functioning in the sense, mind is no longer sort of separated, because its mind is known as inseparable from the Rigpa. Rigpa is not separated, primordially not separated from the mind. So that is the thing. When you realize the mind itself, which means Mahamudra, when you realize Mahamudra, for example, Naropa, when he got the slap, and then when he wakes up, then he sort of saw mind itself. And that time his mind are totally united as a union of the mind itself. So there is no mind. So that is the reason why, we have saying that in a sutra, in a sutra of what sutra, I can't remember the name of that. In English you can't say, but there is a sutra saying that no mind, no mind, level of no mind. Buddha Shakyamuni said it very clear that once you realize, once you reach to the level of no mind, because no mind means there is no designated mind. There is no designated mind. No mind. Mind is united and synchronized and merged into the mind itself. So there will be no mind for that person, for that realized being, for that Buddha, or the Buddha or whatever. If you become Buddha tomorrow you will not have mind. You will have a mind itself. Mind itself is the only conqueror. So that's the thing. But for example, when I get enlightened, when I become realized Mahamudra tomorrow, for example, then that means I wouldn't have a mind. Yes, you can say that. But then, am I going to be like a table? Like a table? No, because I do have a mind itself. That's the thing. Mind itself is 100 times, 1,000 times more active, more accurate, more functional, more sharper. That's what you have to understand. That's the thing. Argument is saying that, argument always is there. That mind is there. If the Buddha has no mind, then no good. But then, yes, Buddha has no mind, but Buddha has mind itself. Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is, of course, there's no need mind, because the Dharmakaya is there. Then that's what do you want? You don't need anything. I mean, mind is a headache, Mind is a headache. Mind is a suffering. Mind is a trouble. So now, no mind is very good. I have now mind itself. That is even 100 times better. So why am I mourning for? Why am I sort of screaming for? No, we don't have to scream. Tomorrow will be a big day if I get enlightened tomorrow. It's a good day that I'm not going to be having mind anymore. It's good. However, that's all. I think only 2. This time 2. So next time I will give. No. Finished. Thank you.
Drodul pe magel potul shuki, guanchem bargue tu.